What if there is a way for us to thrive in ecological, economic, social, and human harmony that we can implement right now? We shape the environment, and in return, the environment shapes us. We live in all kinds of cities. 50% of the world population lives in some kind of cities, most of which are based on grid systems. We live in boxes, climate-controlled boxes. We are isolated. We are isolated from one another. We are isolated from the natural world. We are not part of nature. And we lost an important connection, which is to be united with all living things. Today, we don't have the ability to measure the level of empathy, the sense of belonging, and community experiences in our daily lives. But what if we can create cities in a different ways? What if we can create the cities with a sense of communities? Our cities are great for certain things, such as serendipity, culture, and opportunities, but they are not designed to foster connection. We are building in an unprecedented speed and scale all over the world. We are going to build 4 homes for 4 billion people in the next 30 years. We are doubling the land coverage of cities in the next 20 years. So maybe there is a way for us to not subdivide those plots of land into army-like rows, or should I say graveyard-like rows. What if there is a different geometry that can allow us to build with a sense of trust, with inclusivity, with a sense of community, just by shifting the geometry of the way that we are creating cities? At the end of the day, we all strive to live in harmony with ourselves, with each other, and with the natural world. This is what we call ecological harmony. So let's take a look at nature. Nature thrives with many species living in harmony with one another. What does all of those environments have in common? When we look under the telescope and when we look under the microscope, we see the same geometry, cell formation. Is it possible for us to build community just like cells do? Not just building communities as cells, but what if our buildings were actually shaped by the sun path? What if our building were corresponding to the average sun path and let light penetrate into all of the spaces? So we don't need to see somebody else's wall anymore, and even worse, somebody else's window. But instead, building would be shaped like hill formation, flowing like hills and mountains. Can we make that happen? Supernature Labs, together with some of the world's most renowned subject matter experts, have created a bioplanning. Bioplanning is a new design discipline and a methodology that allows us to create communities that are based on ecology. And together with some of the largest construction companies in the world, we have studied and determined that we are able to build those communities more cost effectively and faster than the way that we're building today, simply by changing the geometry. without compromising on density at all. What you see on the left and on the right is the same exact amount of built area, but with a massive reduction in road and road infrastructure and a massive increase in natural area. Here is the same exact example, but with much lower density. You can see that the same amount of houses and the same sizes of houses on the left side is the exact same amount of houses on the right side. Massive reduction in road infrastructure and massive increase in green spaces. This is some of the communities that we are currently working on in various parts of the world. Some of them are in very different climate condition, very different density, very different configuration, but the human experience, the resident experience, is like never before, where you can go on hour-long run or walk without ever interacting with traffic because the pedestrian path is completely separated from vehicular circulation. So you can enjoy and move around in a completely different way. When we are talking about traffic flow, a lot smoother intersections. There are no longer 4 ways crossing with 16 potential collision points, but there are only 3 ways intersection with only 3 potential collision points. So you can actually get from one place to another much safer and more calmly. Buildings can now have terraces. We all know the value of balconies in cities. What about terraces in the middle of the cities, like gardens in mid-air? What if flood were no longer an issue because we have soil and we have trees to take care of that? What if the sound, the noise gets buffered by nature and masked by the crickets and birds in the environment, where the trees, where the soil capture greenhouse gases and the trees are capturing CO2 and producing oxygen? What if we use 40% less energy consumption for heating and cooling simply by the new organization, by the new orientation that allows more light to penetrate into more spaces? This is what bioplanning can do for various communities around the world. Building like nature, building with nature for the benefit of all life. So can we do it? Those communities are better for the economy. Those communities are better for human experiences, productivity, creativity, crime reduction. They are better for social experiences, they are better for the environment, and they're better for biodiversity. Knowing that we have the ability to create a different future, would you do it? Is it worth piloting and testing in various parts of the world? We can always start in a small scale, and we can grow and expand from there. The problem is that over the next 20 years, we are doubling the land coverage, and those plans are on the drawing table right now. So if you and I think that it's worth testing and thinking differently about the second half of the world built environment, we have to act now. This is a call to action. Please join our efforts, architects, urban planners, construction companies, municipalities, government, and help us create a different future. Africa alone is going to grow from 1.4 billion people to 2.5 billion people over the next 25 years. This is right here. This is Manaus. What is the future of Brazil in the growth of urban population? This is not mere dreams, but possibilities and opportunities for us to live in an environment that is not just about dwelling, that it's about thriving, where we maintain the culture of our people, where we create environment of harmony for all living things. Thank you very much.